Canada, are we canceling our Netflix? Based on my For You page, I am seeing a mass exodus.
I got an email at 2:14 p.m. today that says Netflix is for single households.
Dear Netflix, did you know that IP logging is illegal in Canada? That is, unless you're doing business-to-business marketing. I'm not a business, I'm an individual, and individuals have rights when it comes to privacy. Yeah, Netflix, if you could, give me a little button that says you delete my IP address from my account and don't store any of my personal information, yeah, please politely go yourself.
Very serious, and I really hope this clip goes around, and I hope Netflix sees this. Your service, streaming services, are a service of convenience. This is no longer convenient. You're making it not convenient. You're making it inconvenient for all of us.
Today, folks, I want to share with you why I personally wouldn't buy Netflix stock, and it might not be for the reasons that you think, because right now the big discussion is around this drama of password sharing. So in the coming quarters, all eyeballs are going to be on Netflix stock earnings to see if this drama really pays off, and it's going to set a precedent for all the other streaming services, whether it's Amazon, Apple, Disney, to perhaps consider doing the same thing. It wasn't that long ago that you might recall that Netflix tweeted in 2017 that love is an addiction and love is sharing a password. Damn it, did they revoke on that pretty freaking quick? Because recently in the news, guys, so many people in Canada have been canceling their Netflix over its new password sharing rules. If you're Canadian, you definitely saw this come up over the last couple days, and don't worry, if you live in the US, it's coming to you very soon, baby. But Netflix membership cancellations are about to spike in Canada if online chatter is any indication, as users react to a nationwide crackdown on password sharing between viewers outside of the same household. The media streaming giant announced Wednesday, after months of speculation, that it would be rolling out the new features in Canada, New Zealand, Portugal, and Spain to give people greater control over who can use their accounts. And I think they're really just trying to test this out to see how bad the backlash is really going to be. Because let's be real, if 10-20% of people cancel their Netflix, but another 70% even double up the account, they're really kind of just playing with this to see how much people are going to be running with their pitchforks, right? So it'll be something that a lot of investors are going to be watching. As predicted based on a leaked and then modified support page, you can no longer use your parents' Netflix account if you don't live with them, unless they shell out an extra cash, basically extra $7.99 every month per user. Ditto for your brother, your grandmother, and basically anyone else who doesn't live in the same particular household with your parents, as determined by things like their IP address, device IDs, and account activity. Only the two most expensive plans currently allow for the addition of an extra user in Canada. The standard $16.49 a month, the premium, $20.99 a month. And if you go on Google Trends here, it's kind of wild just to look at this massive spike of people kind of considering canceling their Netflix. And I feel like they're ruining the sticky part of their business, because let's be real, if I don't use Netflix that much, but my mother's using it, girlfriend's using it, I'm not really going to cancel it. But if I'm the only one using it and I'm not really enjoying this monthly fee or the recent content they're producing, yeah, I'm probably going to cancel it, right? So like I said, it's one of these fine lines where how many people are going to cancel versus how many people are going to double up their accounts. For my own personal family, I've talked to my friends, they're doubling up their accounts. People with their parents are doubling up their accounts, and there seems to be this fringe area on TikTok where a lot of people are just saying, hey, I'm done with this, I'm not going to use it anymore. A lot of people switching to the Android boxes. If you don't know what that is, it's people are using forms of pirating, forget paying for Apple and all these other services, when you can basically just get it for, well, not free, but you can pay a much smaller subscription service to pirate this stuff. Let's still not talk too much about that, but I know a lot of people that are doing that lately. But let's talk about the ones and zeros here. Some of the reasons that I'm not a big fan of these cyclical businesses that are heavily reliant on content production, because let's be real, you had things like Squid Games that was huge, Stranger Things, and those things become very popular, but then they burn off, and Netflix kind of struggles to bring new eyeballs. And we saw that kind of come over between 2019 and 2021. Stranger Things, all those things were so popular. It drove so much new subscription growth that they kind of went from $20 billion in revenue to $29 billion. But now, as of late, if you take a look at these revenue numbers, they're really starting to dry up, and Netflix is getting annoyed. And this is going to set a real precedent for Amazon, Disney Plus, all this stuff to maybe consider doing the same thing, because the fact is when it comes to streaming services, they are money losing businesses for a very long period of time. The whole point is to get users in at a low subscription fee, get them hooked on the content, do it at a loss, like a multi-billion-dollar loss, and then start raising the prices to start bringing profit in and pay down the debts. Now, we're going to take a look at their balance sheet in a second here, but when you take a look at the quarterly numbers here, Netflix has been flatlining pretty much through all of 2022, which was a rough year, but we still saw growth out of a lot of the tech companies. So Netflix does not want to be this flatlining non-growth company. But taking a look at the balance sheet here, guys, we can see they have about $48 billion in assets against about 27 billion in liabilities. They're in a relatively healthy position from a cash flow basis. They're still kind of losing money here. They're kind of fluctuating between losing money, making a billion. So they're kind of just stuck in this place where they're like, how do we get more growth? And this is the option they're taking. And if it is a complete catastrophe for them, they're probably going to roll back on this. So they're really putting all their eggs in one basket here if they're going to launch this into the US. So this is something that so many people are going to pay attention to. But just the reasons that I wouldn't buy Netflix stock is you're trying to compete in this realm of people saying, hey, I can go to Disney now. I can go to Apple for much cheaper. And Apple makes really great content, by the way. I love Apple streaming service, just seems to be very resilient with many of their shows. But nonetheless, for me personally, I don't like any of these businesses. They're, again, super cyclical. How popular can Marvel really be for a long period of time with Disney? I mean, eventually people are going to get bored of that and they're going to have to come up with some new shill way to grab your attention. Whereas why I like things like Google, for example, is Google, I think, is just a much better investment. Look at this. I mean, Netflix is trading at a 38 PE right now. Google is trading at what? Let's just take a quick look here. Google is trading at a PE of 20. And the reason this is interesting is because YouTube, unlike Netflix, they don't make content. They're not really paying for content. They're doing an ad revenue split, which, by the way, Netflix is going to be introducing ads soon as well. I mean, they're really scrambling to do everything they can to bring back that growth they experienced from 2019. But nonetheless, Google doesn't have to compete for content. They just have people like Mr. Beast and all these huge YouTubers, Graham Steph and me, everyone you watch, making endless content for these people, and they just split the ad revenue. And I don't think that business is going anywhere and nobody's competing with it. And plus, people go to YouTube to learn things. It's a great place for search. You know, obviously there's a lot of drama with Google and ChatGPT, but I mean, YouTube is just a resilient place to learn stuff, follow your favorite creators, and it's just such an incredible business model that Disney, Amazon, Apple, they can't compete with it. There's no one competing with that, right? So honestly, if I was going to be looking at not financial advice, I think Google, if you're looking into the streaming and just entertainment area, is going to be a much better place of stability with a diversified business model. I mean, Google's second in class is self-driving. Google search isn't going anywhere, even over the ChatGPT, drama. So I would honestly think it's a good pickup here now that it's dropped, considering the drama they've been through. But again, this is why I just wouldn't buy Netflix stock. But you're going to be seeing a lot of eyeballs in the coming quarters to see if this business model is actually working for them. And personally, I think it's going to. I think you're going to get the fringe, maybe 10 to 30% of people that might drop off, but the rest of them are going to make up for the difference. But hey, this shit show drama has been a lot more entertaining to watch than what's been going on in the real world with these crazy earthquakes, them shooting UFOs out of the sky. I mean, let's be real. At least this is something that we can all kind of relate to, can't we? But anyways, I'll pass the question off to you. I'd love to know what you guys think about this in that comment section below. Do you own Netflix? Do you like the streaming services? I'd love the adverse opinion, but let me know what you think.